Welcome back to A Moment in History. I'm Seth Udinsky. In 1944, the safety and prosperity of the free world hung in the balance as the bloodiest war in human history raged on. Germany and Japan, leading the Axis assault on the world, were showing no signs of surrender as World War II approached its 6th year. If the Allies were going to stop the Axis, they needed to make a dramatic and monumental move. So as the summer of 1944 approached, the Allies, under the command of American General Dwight David Eisenhower, hatched a plan to launch a massive amphibious invasion into Western Europe to crush the Nazis once and for all. This invasion began on June 6, 1944, on a day which would live in American lore as D-Day. By 1944, Eisenhower and the Allied leaders came to realize that a full-scale, massive invasion was necessary to deal the knockout blow to the Nazis. The campaign was codenamed Operation Overlord. Interestingly enough, actually, D-Day was not originally even supposed to happen on June 6th. The Allied commanders had planned for June 5th, but the weather on the 5th was suspect, leaving General Eisenhower with little choice but to delay the invasion for one more day. On the morning of June 6th, roughly 160,000 Allied troops descended upon the beaches of Normandy on the west coast of France in a landing that has become the stuff of legend. These beaches were codenamed Sword, Juno, Omaha, Gold, and Utah. The Germans were not about to roll over without a fight, and suspecting some kind of invasion, the Nazis had placed many snipers on the island in foxholes to pick off the descending Allies as they reached the shore. At many landing points on the Norman coast, the chances of survival for many of this first wave of troops was 50-50. In that first initial day and those days immediately after, as many as 4,000 Allies were killed and many more were wounded or captured. The cost was great, but the cost was worth it. The Allies overtook the Germans on the French coast and began to make their way inland. Now, over the next several months, the Allies freed the French capital of Paris and then made their way to Berlin. With the Americans and Brits closing in from the west and the Soviets banging down the door in the east, Nazi Germany stood ready to fall. It finally did in the spring of 1945, thanks to the heroic sacrifices of so many on D-Day and in the battles that followed. Thanks so much for joining me once again for A Moment in History.
Thanks for watching this video. For more content like this, make sure to check out some of the other videos we have on the channel.